Good morning. This is your Barbados Today morning news update for Friday, October 16. Thanks for joining us. An urgent cry for help from more than half a dozen farmers at Pilgrim Place, Christchurch. They say they have been losing thousands of dollars at the hands of brazen thieves. According to livestock farmer Omar Smart, he and his partner Jason Roberts are at their wits' end as the thieves have all but crippled their investment worth more than $50,000.
I lost more than $30,000 in stock. With pigs, feed, chicken, water feeders. These things cost money. They even went as far as taking a refrigerator from me, a working refrigerator that when I do work here, I will store water, you know, whatever I need to store in the fridge to quench my thirst when I'm here working. They even take that as well, you know. So it seems like they're just coming and seeing it and just take it because I don't live on site. I live in St. George, so it's a little distant away from me, yes, but where I live, there's nowhere that I could do my farming, you know. So really need some help down here. We farmers down here really suffering.
Smart is urging the Royal Barbados Police Force to thoroughly investigate the situation.
Well, I had some security cameras out here, and those was also stolen. Yeah, it was also stolen. So I don't know what more I could do, but to just reach out to the Royal Barbados Police Force to, you know, to step in and do a little more than what I have been experiencing from them.
Regional airline LIAT is expected to start issuing termination letters to hundreds of employees and management officials today. Well-placed sources in Antigua and Barbuda made a disclosure following a meeting between the Workers' Union, the Leeward Islands Pilot Association, and the administrator of the proposed restructured airline, Cleveland Seaforth, on Thursday. A source told Barbados Today there's still some confusion over the termination process, since according to the Antigua Labor Code, the staff has already been terminated due to the length of time they have been laid off. Workers are also said to be concerned about the payment of their severance. They're expected to receive a draft plan next Friday for their consideration. Illegal dumpers are again making a big mess at President Kennedy Drive, St. Michael. Months after the area was extensively cleaned, piles of garbage have once again been dumped in the St. Michael community. The action has drawn the ire of the Public Relations Officer of the Sanitation Service Authority, Carl Padmore, who told Barbados Today they have come up with a plan to catch the culprits.
The minister did meet with the management of the SSA, and we are looking in earnest at setting up some cameras so that we can catch the purpose traders. In addition to that, as we look towards the clean green part of Barbados, that's the new initiative from the minister, that is one area that will have our attention even more. We would like to encourage Barbadians to separate at source still. So we will be going into that community to encourage persons to do that. It takes over $30 million to outfit a new landfill. The present landfill probably has another 5, 6, 7 years at maximum. And we wouldn't want to think that we would have to continue to revisit the Treasury to ask for $30 million. Recycling, restoring, and reusing is still our best option as a country. We are too small to be generating so much garbage. So that area, and there's some areas in and around Bridgetown that continue to concern us.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news now, the Antigua and Barbuda government is standing by its decision not to provide citizens with financial support during the COVID-19 pandemic, insisting it's in the country's best interests. More in this report from ABS Television.
While other countries in the region rolled out stimulus packages for residents to counter the economic hardships of the COVID-19 pandemic, this country's government remained resolute. there would be no wide-scale handouts. Minister for Information, the Honourable Melford Nicholas, explains it was the sensible thing to do.
When we finally closed the borders in March, the government was actually seeing a significant reduction in its revenues. And we would have been at that point where the government did not have the largesse to be able to support such programs for giving out that type of cash. But we recognized that the real effort would come after COVID, after the borders were reopened.
This, the minister says, required continuous shrewd investments, keeping the public sector machinery running and engaging the private sector.
We kept the public sector open and valid, and to ensure that public sector employment remained at those particular levels, to ensure that the continued spend from those persons who were wage earners would continue. But we also did engage the private sector partners, to include the banks, insurance companies, and persons who were landlords and various other persons, to give consideration.
Minister Nicholas says a reviving tourism industry is set to play a role in the economic resurgence plans for this country.
On the international scene, Nigeria's army has promised to maintain law and order as protests against police brutality continue for the 8th straight day on Thursday. Flag-waving crowds headed towards the National Assembly in the capital as people gathered again to block traffic on key roads in the largest city. We get the details from Al Jazeera Television.
In the capital, more than 100 protesters have camped out in front of the country's police headquarters, demanding a police unit known as the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, or SARS, accused of carrying out extrajudicial killings and extortion, be disbanded. Obi Junu Iloanya's brother was last seen in police detention in 2012. The family assumes he's been killed, and for no reason. His sister says the family's petition to the police for access to him, dead or alive, was ignored.
But we never had an opportunity to know what crime he committed, what he did wrong, and why he was killed. So it's a very personal reason for me to be here. And I think that SARS has done more harm, not just to me, but to a lot of young persons in Nigeria, for the sole reason of them being young people, and so they should end SARS. They can't reform it. They should end it.
The elite police unit set up to tackle robbery and violent crimes has over the years been accused of murder, extortion, and disappearances. After the recent allegations, Nigeria's police chief banned the unit from routine patrols and setting up roadblocks, saying such crimes were not routine in the force. The Special Anti-Robbery Squad has been banned 3 times before, but each time they've managed to reform. Protesters, Nigerians mainly in their 20s and 30s, are alleged to have been particularly targeted by this elite police force unit. But security officials say this is the age group that is mostly involved in online fraud.
That's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.